Why do we get so nervous when we have to public speak? It's just like we're having a conversation. So let's have a conversation. How about public speaking comfortably? And I'll show you how you can go from the picture on the left to the picture on the right, very simply. You want your audience to believe you, right? Then you got to present your message in a trustworthy way, a way that shows your audience that they can believe what you're telling them. To build trust, just have a natural conversation. Start by synchronizing your voice and your body language. Once you have that down, figure out where you can add gestures in there, but make sure they're natural gestures. But they are necessary. This will help your audience to accept and trust that message you are conveying, and gestures just make it easier to visualize internally. Morgan Wright puts it beautifully. Believe in what you're saying. If you don't, your movements will be awkward and not natural. For instance, have you ever watched a criminal lie to an officer's face? Did he have that guilty face or show suspicious behavior? Usually they do, and that's because they didn't believe in what they were saying. However, we aren't examining criminals today. We're examining great public speakers, ones who can show us how they present such a powerful message. And there's no better person to start with than Amanda Palmer herself, someone who had an old job that was nothing but gestures. No words, just gestures. And watch how she presents this on a TED Talk stage, and pay very close attention to how she syncs up her voice, her gestures, and her body language.
I painted myself white one day, stood on a box, put a hat or a can at my feet, and when someone came by and dropped in money, I handed them a flower and some intense eye contact. And if they didn't take the flower, I threw in a gesture of sadness and longing as they walked away.
She practiced that speech for 4 months. She would practice to family, friends, students, teachers, basically anyone that would listen to her. But why? Why did she practice for 4 months? That's because she wanted to be authentic. She wanted to get it just right. And she synced up her voice, her gestures, and her body language to show her audience that they can trust the message she is conveying. But without her gestures, I don't think that could have happened. It would have been very hard to imagine the story she was trying to convey to us. Now, this is Ernesto Ceroli, our next great public speaker. He's the king of gestures. Even Carmine Gallos explains this guy by saying, every gesture helps to paint the pictures he's creating verbally. When Ceroli presents, he doesn't even use slides because his gestures are so impactful and in a genuine way. So now I want to show you the difference that gestures actually make. In Ernesto Ceroli's TED Talk called Want to Help Someone? Shut Up and Listen, he tells a story from his life to his audience, but he uses so many gestures to tell his story. So I'm going to show you a video of me telling his same story, but with no gestures, and a monotone voice, and really no fun. And then I'll show you his version, and you can judge for yourself the difference that gestures make. And we were telling the Zambians, look how easy agriculture is here. When the tomatoes were nice and ripe and red, some 200 hippos came out from the river, and they ate everything. And we said to the Zambians, my God, the hippos. And the Zambians said, yes, that's why we have no agriculture here. Why didn't you tell us? You never asked.
We're telling the Zambians, look how easy agriculture is. When the tomatoes were nice and ripe and red, overnight, some 200 hippos came out from the river and they ate everything. And we said to the Zambians, my God, the hippos. And the Zambians said, yes, that's why we have no agriculture here. Why didn't you tell us? You never asked.
So now you've seen, when Ceroli uses gestures, it really helps to paint that picture in your mind of what's happening. My version, on the other hand, didn't really help. And the audience would probably up and walk out on me and not even hear my message. But when your voice, gestures, and body language are consistent with each other, and your gestures contribute to your message, then your audience will trust, believe, and even enjoy your message. So just remember, be yourself and have a natural conversation.